Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dane, your host. I hope that you're doing great wherever you may find yourselves, and blessings to all of you wonderful people out there. Finally, I'm getting to my review today of the most recent UFO release, and that is UFO No Place to Run, a 2-CD affair. You have on CD1 the No Place to Run 2025 remaster. A little footnote here, I've seen a couple people already doing their own reviews of this, and they have erroneously said that this first disc, a reissue of the album, is a remix. It is not. It is a remaster. There's a big difference, as you know, between the two. Of course, you have the 10 tracks. There are 3 bonus tracks, though. That makes this fresh in a way, besides the fact that it's remastered. But you know the 10 tracks, right? If you're a UFO fan or a fan of this album: Alpha Centauri, Letting Go, Mystery Train, This Fire Burns Tonight, Gone the Night, Young Blood, No Place to Run, Take It or Leave It, Money Money, and Any Day. The 3 bonus tracks: Young Blood, single version; Gone the Night, alternative studio version; and then No Place to Run, alternative studio version. These 3 bonus features, if you will, bonus tracks, are wonderful. It's one of the reasons you get this this issue rather. CD2 is Live at the Marquee, London, 16th of November, 1980, 2025 mix. Now, before we get to the track listing here, there's an asterisk next to where it says 2025 mix in parentheses. I don't know if you can read that because of the glare in the camera. But this, my guesstimation would be that this has been sitting on the shelf somewhere for a long time. That's obvious, really, because of the date, 1980, and they pulled it off and listened to it and go, we need to remix this. So that's what it means. But it's the first time that it's available, because the asterisk means previously unreleased. So again, my understanding, or what I infer, is that they didn't like the mix when he pulled it off and said, yeah, we got to remix this. Anyway, so let me show you the hype sticker. Can't read that either, I don't think. It's blurry. But essentially what it says is No Place to Run 2025 remaster. Okay, not a remix. And then previously unreleased Live at the Marquee, London, 16th November 1980, 2025 mix. 2-CD deluxe edition. Okay, I'm not one for keeping hype stickers, but I kept it to show you that the first CD is not a remix. And even the discs say this as well. So here's disc 1, No Place to Run. You can see that, 2025 remaster. And this is the remix, although again, never been put out before. Live at the Marquee, London, 16th November, okay, 2025 mix. All right, Chrysalis Records, as you can see. So again, here's the slip case and the track listing on the back for both CDs. You pull it out, here's the album cover again. Here's the album back. Like the orange this time instead of the white, makes it pop a lot more. You open it, you get a picture of the band, and the studio card, or whatever that's called, and the discs that I showed you. There's also a cool little booklet, and one side is a poster. I'll get to the tracks in a minute. So here's the booklet, and then when you pull it out, you get this nice poster, okay, with the tour dates at the top, and then you get this nice history of the album, which I will read a little bit of, but not the whole thing. I've read it twice already. It's quite cool to have. The opening, one of the opening sentences from the writer here, it says that this is the first post-Schenker album, the one where the hard rock edge began to be sanded off the band. This is wildly unfair, and I couldn't agree more. This is a wonderful album, although there's one song that I think is mediocre, and that is Young Blood. It's okay. And then it goes into talking about how they had considered when Shankner left that they were thinking about bringing in, I'm trying to find the name here, Steve Hunter, but then who was with Lou Reed at the time, and they decided let's go with Paul Tonka Chapman because he had worked with the band before when Schenker, ironically, back during the Phenomenon days. That's why you can see that black and white photo sometimes on the internet of the band, and they're peeking behind the pillars of a building, and there are 5 members, one of them being Tonka Chapman. And so Schenker wanted to bring on another guitarist so they could have a 5-piece so that he could have so the band could have a more rounder sound or something to that effect, someone to help along with the guitar, right? And then, ironically, he got jealous of Tonka Chapman and said he had to go, which is, so egos, right? And they said that here, Phil Mogg recalls that Chapman was a shoo-in. He was the choice, a no-brainer, because they knew him, and they Mogg talks about how Paul Tonka Chapman was more stable than Schenker and much more fun and easier to get along with. No disrespect to Schenker, because I love him as a guitar player, and from what I've read about him as a person as well, we all have our problems. And it finally, for me, I never knew why Paul was called Tonka Chapman. I know Tonka trucks, and that's related to why he was named that, because I had Tonka trucks growing up, and the reason for it tells you here. You may know this already, but because Paul was indestructible in some way. So a little bit of reading for you that I think you'll like. I won't go into any more of the reading. The poster's really cool, as I said. Now let's talk about the track lists for the live set. You have an introduction, just someone saying, introducing the band. And then you get chains, get back to that in a minute. Then Letting Go, then Long Gone. I'm going to get back to that too in a minute. Okay. Cherry, Only You Can Rock Me, No Place to Run, Love to Love, Hot and Ready, Mystery Train, Too Hot to Handle, Lights Out, Rock Bottom, and closing with Doctor Doctor. Now, if you're a big UFO fan or an intermediate UFO fan, you probably know, right, that Chains, and Long Gone are not on No Place to Run. They're on the follow-up album, The Wild, the Willing, and the Innocent, but they're here on this live album, which I had no idea that they were playing in 1980, because the next album is a year and a half later, thereabouts, and so I had no idea that these songs were already recorded and practiced and played, and they were showcasing them way before the album came out. Rush has done that with Signal songs, etc. So a really cool treat. You get Chains, and Long Gone, which are 2 of my favorite UFO songs. Always going to be in a playlist for me. No, I do have a little bit of criticism here, and of course I'm going to tell you, is this worth getting, and that sort of thing. So here's the criticism part. I wish they had included Gone in the Night and Any Day from the studio album on the tour for this night. They didn't. I have to imagine they played them live someplace. But it is the full set, apparently short as it is, 14 songs. It's about 76 minutes, so an hour and 16 minutes or something like that, maybe 75 and change. But the songs are great here, with the exception of, and I have this problem with Rock Bottom almost on every live album, except they don't have it it's a bootleg maybe, the Don Kirshner performance where Schenker plays Rock Bottom note for note. For me personally, like Strangers in the Night, that's one of the flaws. I know this is blasphemous, but Rock Bottom should not have keyboards in it when the solo comes in. And the solo seems to be never played note for note like it should be, where Schenker or Chapman playing an imitation of Schenker, keeps going. Just when you think he's gotten to the last gear on his guitar, he goes up a notch and then another one, and it gets faster and faster. That is not the case here. Once again, the keys get in the way of the guitar at times, especially at the beginning of the solo or right before, or at the beginning of the solo. So that's a disappointment. But I love the songs here. The standout tracks are Chains, Letting Go, Long Gone, Only You Can Rock Me, No Place to Run is wonderful. Love to Love is amazing. Mystery Train is great. Lights Out is pretty good. And Doctor Doctor, to close things out, the intro is a little bit slower than normal, I think, to my ears, and it's wonderful. So this is worth getting. I would give this a 9 out of 10. So this is worth owning if you're a UFO fan. I like the remastering of the studio. That in itself is a 9 out of 10, and the live album is a 9 out of 10. So overall, a 9 out of 10, talking about both discs. So if you're a UFO fan, I would get this while it's hot. Hopefully it doesn't go out of print like the No Heavy Petting 2 CD box set did so soon, like, even though it's been out only for a couple, well, it only came out like a couple years ago, and I did a video on that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye now.